Hello, scholars. Welcome back to the Greatmen online learning. Today we will be learning chapter 11, that is force and energy. And in this chapter we are going to learn what is force, the different types of forces, simple machines, and different forms of energy. So let's start the chapter. So first topic is what are forces? So when we push, pull or twist any object, that means we are applying a force on that object. So a force is a push, pull or twist that can change an object motion. Okay? And most of the actions that we perform in our daily lives involve pushing or pulling something. So let's see some of the effects of force on an object. So a force can be used to move a stationary object. As you can see, a man is trying to push a car. He is trying to move a car which is in the rest position. Second effect is that a force can be used to stop a moving object, as a football player is trying to stop the moving football. Third is the force can change the speed of an object if it is moving, or we can make a moving object move faster, as a boy is trying to move the bicycle faster. Next effect can be a force can be used to change the direction of moving object. As it happens in cricket, the ball comes from other direction, and when it is being hit by a bat, so it changes its direction. And a force can also be used to change the shape or size of an object. As you can see, a girl is trying to roll a piece of dough and trying to make a chapati. So it means she has changed the shape of an object. So force may cause one or more of these effects. Now we will learn different types of forces. We are going to learn muscular force, gravitational force, frictional force, elastic force, mechanical force, and buoyant force. Let's learn them individually. First is muscular force. So when we push, pull, or try to lift something, we are applying muscular force, as we are using our muscles of the body to push, pull, or lift something. Next is gravitational force. So you must have seen that when astronauts go into space, they float. They are not able to stand properly there. Why? Because there is no gravitational force. We are able to stand, or anything, whatever goes up comes down. Why? Because of the gravitational pull of the earth. The earth pulls everything down. That's why everything comes down to the earth. Okay. So this is the gravitational force. Next is the frictional force. You must have seen when the ball rolls on the ground, it stops after some times. Why? This is because of the force of friction. Frictional force slows down a moving object, and we are able to walk because of the frictional force. Next is the elastic force. So whenever we try to stretch a rubber band, it takes its original position on being released. It is because of the elastic force, and elastic force arises when a body deforms. Next is the mechanical force. Whenever we are using some simple machines to do our work, we are using mechanical force. As you can see in the picture, a boy is trying to cut the grass with the scissor. So it means he is making use of a simple machine, that is a scissor. And which force he is applying? He is applying the mechanical force. Next is the buoyant force, which is also called upthrust. So if we push down, suppose if we pushing down a mug or a block of wood, the things which float on water, if we try to push them inside the water, we will feel an upward thrust coming from the water. This upward push of water on a floating object is called buoyant force or upthrust, and this force acts on every object, even when you enter the swimming pool. So these were some of the different types of forces. Let's learn what are simple machines. So often we have to use some tools to do some work. Such tools are called simple machines. They help us to do our work faster and with less effort. And we can change the direction of force used with the help of simple machines, and simple machines also help us to do work with less force. So let's see, there are different types of simple machines. These are pulley, lever, wheel and axle, wedge, inclined plane and screw. Let's learn about them. First is the lever. So commonly used tools like scissors, pliers, screwdrivers or hammers, these are levers. And as you can see, in your book on page number 101, figure 11.3, you can see a person is using a rod to lift a heavy rock. So this is the configuration of lever. So a small stone is kept as a support for the rod, very close to the rock, under the rod. Okay. And he uses a downward force on the other end of the rod. The rock is lifted upwards. So here the rod is the lever. And in this figure you can see a beam, right? And the rock which is lifted upwards, the rock which we are trying to lift is the load. And the point of support or the pivot point of the rod where it touches this small stone is the fulcrum. And the force which is applied, downward force, is the effort. So the lever can be classified according to the positions of fulcrum, load and efforts. And there are three types of lever: first class lever, second class lever and third class lever. The basic configuration of lever is the first class lever, in which the fulcrum is in between and efforts are loads on the sides. In the second class lever, the load is in between, and in third class lever, the effort is in between. Okay. And you can also see the examples of first class, second class and third class lever. Next is the inclined plane. An inclined plane is a slope which makes our work easier. So you must have seen workers, when they have to load or unload the truck, what they do, they use a plank of wood as an inclined plane, as you can see in the examples of inclined planes shown here. In hospitals and in some other buildings, you must have seen inclined planes called ramps are provided next to the staircase, so that those who are using the wheelchair to go up, they can move on that slopes. Okay. And the rides, the swings you can see in the garden, they are also examples of inclined planes. Next topic is pulley. A pulley is a small wheel with the grooves around its edge. And this groove can hold a rope in the position. So a pulley is made up of a wheel and a rope. And a pulley together with a chain or rope is used to lift the objects easily. There are two types of pulleys: fixed pulley and the movable pulley. The pulley which is used to draw water from the well is fixed pulley, and movable pulley is the pulley that moves along with the rope. Okay. And movable pulley along with the fixed pulleys are used to lift the loads. Next simple machine is wheel and axle. So, a wheel and axle arrangement is made up of two circular objects of different sizes. The wheel is the larger object and it rotates around the smaller circular object called axle. Okay, and a wheel with rod attached to it known as wheel and axle arrangement. And this arrangement is being used in most of the big machines. Okay, as you can see this arrangement in vehicles, swing machine, egg beaters and cycles. Next simple machine is the screw. The screw looks like a nail with the grooves cut into it, and it is used to hold the things together. And when we compare a screw with a nail, so screw is always better than a nail. Why? Because when we join things together with the screw, they are held together through a longer distance and thus cannot be forced apart easily. On the other hand, when we join things with a nail, they held together only for short distance. That is through the length of the nail. Okay, so bigger screws are also used, also called screw jacks, are used to lift the cars or heavy objects. Let's learn about energy. What is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. And energy is needed for everything we do. And all living things need energy to live. And energy is everywhere in nature. Sunlight, wind, water, plants and animals. We use energy every day. So let's learn some different forms of energy. They are mechanical energy, solar energy, geothermal energy, wind energy, hydropower or water energy, heat, light, sound and electrical energy. So let's learn them individually. First is mechanical energy. So mechanical energy is the energy which is possessed by an object due to its motion or due to its position. As mechanical energy can be either kinetic energy or potential energy. So as you can see in the picture, a moving bicycle possesses mechanical energy due to its motion, and this is kinetic energy. And a drawn bow possesses mechanical energy due to its stretched position. So as we stretch a bow, so it gains elastic potential energy. Next is solar energy. The energy that we get from sun is called solar energy. And solar energy is the most readily available source of energy. It is the most important source of energy because it is non-polluting. And we hang our clothes outside to dry in the sun. And we also use the solar energy when we fit solar panels, and which can make the electricity for us, which can produce electricity. Next is geothermal energy. Here in the word geothermal, geo means earth and therm means heat. So geothermal energy is the heat from within the earth. The hot interior of the earth, this is the important source of energy and it is called geothermal energy. And we can use the steam or hot water produced inside the earth to heat buildings or to generate electricity. It is renewable energy source because the water is replenished by rainfall and the heat is continuously produced inside the earth. Next form of energy is wind energy. Wind energy is plentiful, renewable, widely distributed, clean and non-polluting. Therefore, it is considered by experts to be more environment friendly than any other energy sources. And wind power is the conversion of wind energy into a useful form such as electricity using the windmills. Next form of energy is hydropower energy. It is also renewable energy source which can be used to generate electricity. It is one of the oldest sources of energy and it was used thousands of years ago to turn a paddle wheel to grind grains. Now, because the source of hydropower is water, so hydroelectric power plants must be located on a water source, as you can see in the picture. Next type of energy is heat energy. Heat is a form of energy. We use it for a lot of things like warming our homes and cooking our foods. And most of the heat energy we use comes from burning fuels like coal, kerosene, and petrol. Next is light energy. Light is the nature's way of transferring energy through space, and some sources of light can be sun, bulbs, tube lights, or a burning candle. Sound energy is produced when there is vibrations in the solid, liquid, or gases. Sound is the vibration transmitted through the solid, liquid, or a gas. Sound is produced when the force causes an object or a substance to vibrate. And some sources of sound energy are music systems, musical instruments, and radios. Next form of energy is the electrical energy. Electrical energy is the movement of electrical charges. The electrical charges moving through a wire is called electricity, which reaches our homes. And most of the appliances that we use these days are run by the electricity. Let's learn the last topic of the chapter, that is law of conservation of energy. So, what does the law of conservation of energy states? That energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. And the total energy of an object never decreases or increases. So let's see what all things we have learnt. So we have learnt that when we push or pull something, we apply force. A force can be used to move an object, stop a moving object, make a moving object move faster, slow down a moving object, change the direction of moving object, or change the shape or size of an object. Forces are of different types: muscular, gravitational, frictional, elastic, mechanical, and buoyant. And simple machines make our work easy. They can be grouped under lever, inclined plane, wheel and axle, pulley, and screw. And energy is the ability to do work. Mechanical energy can be either kinetic energy or potential energy. And what does the law of conservation of energy states? That energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can always change from one kind to another. So I hope you would have understood the topics of the chapter. So the assignment related to the chapter, question answers, and the exercises can be found below in the description box. Till the time, be safe at your home, study at home, take care of yourself. Thank you.